to the Uncultured Opinions podcast. This is episode 6.
Just kidding.
Psych.
What episode is this?
Fuck, Brent. I don't even know what episode. I think we're on episode 11.
Let me see.
Yeah, it's definitely episode 11 because last episode was episode 10.
This is the wrong
yeah,
account, but yeah.
We're on episode 11.
We're on episode 11. Brent's not here, but we just used audio from an old one. He won't even have to edit in the sound or the intro.
Yeah, look at it.
But Brent's going to be so frustrated because it's going to sound like garbage.
It's not like Brent does any editing anyways.
It's true.
Brent's like, dude, I got to edit this. It's going to take me a while to get it up. Got
and then we listen to it.
I'm going to get it up by Monday. And then, like, Wednesday rolls around. We're like, hey, Brent, how's the podcast? Guys, I'm working on it. You don't have to text me every day about it.
He never edited in the ads either.
Yeah, and then Brent's just like, oh, we got ad space. And no ads, so.
No ads. We'll do an ad.
At least he'll hear our, like, actual opinions about him.
Yes.
Now that we're talking about him.
He probably won't even listen to it.
He probably won't. He doesn't actually support the podcast.
He doesn't. He
likes to, like...
He bailed out this week?
Pretty much. He's moving, apparently.
Apparently. I didn't know anything about it.
He's growing up, becoming an adult, I guess. But, yeah, he's an interesting man, but we will not have Brent on this episode.
Thank the
B-Rent
Lord.
will also but not be appearing.
Again?
We'll discuss about B-Rent's music, probably, at some point in the episode.
Is he going to put out new music?
How interesting it is. Yeah, you guys talked about, like, Eminem last week. A little disappointed. Brent's like,
I don't listen to rap, so you can't be too upset at me because I don't really listen to rap.
Well, I
don't claim to listen to rap. Brent
claims to be a rapper, and then you guys bring up Juice WRLD, and you guys couldn't even name Juice WRLD's like #1 hit.
Yeah, well, I don't listen.
And I'm
like,
I can name you like 20 Juice WRLD songs, and then Brent's over here can't even name the #1 hit by Juice WRLD. But he's a rapper, dude. It's a lifestyle choice.
Well, B-Rent is a rapper.
Oh, sorry, B-Rent.
That's true. That could have been why Brent.
Brent
that's probably why
wasn't there.
That's probably why Brent didn't know because Brent's not a rapper, but B-Rent.
Yeah, B-Rent was there.
So B-Rent wasn't there, so that's probably why he didn't know.
That's probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, his alter ego wasn't there. Beef stew. But yeah. So this is actually the Uncultured Opinions podcast, the originals.
Yeah. It was our idea. Yeah, Brent just kind of
joined in, I guess.
Just kind of hopped on.
He's like, hey guys, I got this $200 mic that you can use if you let me in your podcast.
He's going to cut that out.
Okay. Brent's not going to cut anything out. He's not going to listen to it. But it's okay.
He's just going to be like, yep, that's a file.
Yep.
He's going to upload it.
If we do our thing, he's going to literally be so mad if we do our little joke on him and he uploads that file.
Oh, yeah. You just send him a shit file.
Just send him a crappy, like,
we should do it.
Mic recorded.
We should just send him a real shit file and just see if he uploads it.
I'm just going to send him, like, something that will get us copyrighted.
Just send him someone else's podcast.
I'm just going to send him, like,
just the first half of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Put it on Spotify. Dude, that would get copyrighted instantly because he has such beef with, like, Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if it's beef. He just uses it on Spotify, so. It's probably for some reason.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess we'll just start off with some housekeeping. The usual, we like to tell you guys to hit us with a little follow button. If you're listening on YouTube, hit us with a subscribe. Hit that little bell for notifications.
Ding. Don't
forget to follow us on Twitter at the UO Podcast and Instagram at the Uncultured Opinions. I know social games are going to be plugged in the podcast on Spotify, if that's where most of you guys are listening. We're also on Apple Podcasts now.
Are we?
Okay, maybe not.
I didn't think we were yet.
It's a little premature.
I thought we were working out the kinks.
We're planning to be on Apple Podcasts at some point.
We applied for Apple Podcast. We got put on hold for a reason.
Because we put our episode numbers in our title.
And they automatically
do episode numbers.
So we pulled them for the ones on there, and now we're in the middle of trying to work and getting them on there. So,
also, there's been talks of we'd like to know your guys' thoughts on us doing seasons, possibly. So, I know...
actually, we talked about seasons a while ago, and Sam said seasons are stupid.
I may have turned it down.
And said they were stupid. I thought they were a great idea.
And it's just a good idea, because it would help us. We had a little void there for month of December.
Yeah, we did.
Just because the holiday season can be hard to get together with work and everything.
Hard to chill out with the boys.
But, you know, if you guys do... if you guys really are supportive, we could... maybe end up not even having to work, and then that's a year-round podcast right there. But it's up to you guys. But yeah, we were thinking about possibly doing seasons, so just let us know your feedback on that. Any other housekeeping we got? Oh, Brent's not here.
Brent's not here.
If you guys couldn't tell already.
See, I think the real trick will be if he's going to be on next week.
I think Brent's
because he's moving next week.
I think Brent's just gonna Brent's gonna take this podcast and just plug in little clips of him talking about what we talked about.
We're gonna listen. We're gonna listen to it back when he uploads it, and randomly you're gonna hear totally different audio.
It's gonna be
it's like a pause.
Where Brent's not here, and then all of a sudden it plugs in. He's like, "Yeah, I am," and then it's Brent comes in and out of him just talking about what we're talking about.
That would be so funny, actually. But that would take a lot of work.
That would take. Brent doesn't have the much
I think
time.
he should do it, but then this episode definitely won't get out tomorrow. Who would keep this?
Yeah,
get out
tomorrow
anyway.
We'll send him the audio file. He's gonna be like, I don't know, just busy.
Trying to think. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be on next week.
Literally, because this past week's been literally so boring. And then you started just messing with them all, and they all fell for it.
Everyone fell for it.
And it just made my day.
It was crazy. I just convinced everyone.
Just acting like everyone quit.
Yeah, I just convinced our friend group that a bunch of people walked out, and
three people.
Everyone was like, "What?" Two people on first shift, obviously, because they didn't know what happened. Because I texted them after work, and I was like, "Yeah, we walked out. This was stupid," and they were like, "Wait, what? What happened?" So many people fell for it.
Yeah,
and I was like, I was just trying to get Brent. Because, literally, it wasn't even a planned thing. Brent was like, wait, why are you guys out of work? Because we got out of work early?
Yeah.
And he was like, why are you guys out of work? And I was like, oh, we walked out. Work is stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And Brent was like, what? And then I got a message separately from someone else. And he was like, what, did you guys really quit?
Well, you're texting me, and you're like, oh, we should probably tell Brent. And I'm like, nah, dude, just let it roll out a little bit.
I was like, no, because if Brent...
And then Brent texts us and it's like, yeah, I called my mom and told her I can't come over anymore. And we're like, Brent, why'd you do that? He said, because I have to work this weekend. And then we're like, okay, maybe we should tell Brent now.
Because we told him, the reason that
Because he's, getting ready to move, so he had to, go to his mom's to get some stuff. So,
Cause,
it's just pretty funny.
Yeah, because, the reason we told him that people walked out was because they told us we had to work this weekend, which, one, was a really stupid reason to quit.
Well, I don't know. That's a dumb reason to quit, but they've done it before, so it's not
yeah, but, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And also, I was super shocked because none of us have ever expressed any at all upsetness with the company we work for, and everyone just without question was like, oh, that sounds like something they would do.
That was pretty.
And
funny.
I was like, what the heck? Now, if it was me walking out of Walmart, totally makes sense because people talk about walking out of Walmart all the time because that place sucks. I was really confused that people believed it. I was really just trying to get Brent.
I love how you just roast where else the other place you work.
Dude, I don't care. People at Walmart listen to this and they're like, yeah, I know. Yeah. They know. It's not a good place to work. It's not a good place to work. But anyway, moving forward. So what were we doing this week?
Oh, I know you got some news. I guess
we do have some news. So we were gonna do this week was supposed to be the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but then when we found out Brent couldn't do it, Brent really wanted to do the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
These next 2 weeks
are
first. I guess we should just shout out to patrons first.
Yeah, we should because
shout out to patrons.
Shout out to patrons.
Thank you, Darren, as usual.
We got Josh
always
on there,
coming in
as
clutch.
usual.
Josh.
Got a new patron, Kelby, who recommended this week's movie, which was going to be next week's movie.
Yes.
We had to flip them because Brent wanted to do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was a request from our anonymous patron. Shout out to that patron.
So TMNT.
We will get to it. We are super excited to get to it.
The OG.
We all have a lot of opinions on it, so we wanted to just all be on it. So we pushed it back a week just so that we could all firmly discuss it.
I know it's Brent's one of Brent's favorite trilogies.
It is
he
really. He
talks about how he's seen all the movies 100 times.
It's super interesting. So it makes sense that he wanted to be on that one.
Yeah.
And he also really didn't want to do this week's.
Yeah, he doesn't like drugs. So.
So this week's we had a request from our new patron Kelby because he signed up for the $25 tier, the one movie a month recommendation tier. So shout out to that. Appreciate it. He recommended Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and then the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which came out on DVD on Tuesday. Brent really did not want to do it I can't. I was just so shocked because he said,
Yeah,
"I
he's
vowed to never watch this
out of
kinds
nowhere,
of
just
movies."
like we're like.
I was so shook when he said
Ethan's
that.
just like, yeah, my buddy wants us to do
Jay and Silent
Jay
Bob.
and Silent Bob in the reboot, and like I've
Brent-
heard of the movies before, but I never even know what they're about. Brent's like, I can't. I vow to never watch them.
I'm gonna read off the exact text of what he said.
And we're like, Brent, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, they just got a lot of drugs, and I don't like it. And it's like, it's not even like drug. What?
Well, he's like, I don't want to.
It's literally just weed.
Yeah, it's just
Like there's no other drugs in it. It's just weed. It's not like the dudes are like popping pills. Like it's just a stoner movie.
Yeah, it's just
So it's like,
but like, there's not even that much weed in it. But like, what do you
pretty
say?
strong in the weed, but
Like
it's
they're
not
strong
like,
in the weed.
Yeah, it's not like Mac and Devin go to high school. It's not like anything level like I've never seen like the heroin Kumars, but like it's nothing or the Cheech and Chongs is. But
Hang on.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's not like my genre.
He said, Dan. I said, we got a movie recommendation. It's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and the reboot. And he said, "Damn, I vowed to never watch those." And we were like, "What the hell?" And he said, "I don't know if I can. I love Kevin Smith, but drug movies make me really uncomfortable." And I'm like, "How are you gonna be a movie person and just turn off any idea of a drug movie?"
I feel like a bunch of movies are just like.
I mean, like I get it, I get it, but I don't. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a stoner movie. It's made for people who are high as hell.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It definitely would have been a lot funnier
if
we would have.
Is definitely
especially
more like
the first one. Yeah, it would have been a lot funnier if we were totally baked for it. The second one was a lot better at just being like a normal movie, but we'll get more into it. But like, that's what it's just a stupid movie.
Yeah,
like it's just a silly, goofy movie. Like that's really all it, with a little bit of drugs in it. Like if we were like, all right, Brent, for this week we're just gonna watch 2 hours of people snorting cocaine.
Yeah, that'd be different.
And then he's like, I don't know, that makes me kind of uncomfortable. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But like, they just smoke a couple joints and do some stupid stuff. I wonder
if he like doesn't like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Great movie.
Pineapple Express,
also
phenomenal, hysterical. So I don't know. But yeah, I just thought it was odd that Brent was just so against the idea.
He took that dare pledge in high school, dude. It's one of those ones.
It's like
drugs are bad. Don't do them.
He signed the paper that says, "I vow to never do drugs." And he took that to heart, to whereas he vowed to never
watch drugs,
talk about drugs, or think about drugs.
Well, he's not supporting the drug industry, so I respect it.
I don't know. He's also a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah.
So
I just don't know how it'd be hard to collab in the rap game.
Well, he's not. B-Rant is.
It's hard to collab in the rap game.
We could have just had B-Rant on instead of Brent.
Most of the people do drugs in the rap game.
Well, I was just saying we could have B-Rant because B-Rant's a rapper. He's probably not so against drugs like Brent is.
He's probably not. I would agree with that. But yeah. So into this week, we did... Oh, you want to do your news first? We haven't done it yet.
Let's do the news. So, some news on the Disney Plus Obi-Wan show, which is super confusing. So, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus has been permanently...
But not permanently.
Well, no, it will indefinitely...
Yeah.
Put on hold, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's like it's been indefinitely put on hold, but the release date is not changing.
I mean, they'll just change the release date later on. When's the release date?
I mean, it's not for like late next year, I believe.
Okay. Is it a full movie?
No, it's a series. It's a series. They weren't happy.
Who is it?
Huh?
Who plays it?
Ewan McGregor. The one who plays
it. The original?
Yeah, well, no. Not the original, because the original...
Yeah, it's always
passed away.
The other original.
Yeah. Whatever. When people think of Obi-Wan, what people mind goes to. Yeah. He plays it. They weren't happy with the scripts, which I like the fact that
Who wasn't happy with the scripts?
The writers. They wrote 4 episodes.
Okay.
Or I think they wrote 2. And they really weren't happy with the direction it was going. So the direction it was going... now this is all... It's not 100% confirmed by Disney, but it seems... So from what we've been told, what IGN has reported, so they're planning on doing 6... It was going to be a short season. It was going to be 6 episodes. And this is all according to IGN, so I don't know how accurate this is.
Yeah, could be very inaccurate. But...
Could be very inaccurate because IGN... The only thing I don't like about IGN is... IGN gets their news out really, really quick.
Yeah.
But oftentimes that leads to it being inaccurate. As soon as they hear something, they jump on it.
Yeah, it's like
but I've seen, I can't remember what it was for, something that got canceled and then not canceled because it was a rumor. But they reported on the same story 3 days in a row, and each story was different because they report on it as soon as they get any new information, and they don't verify, which is frustrating. So, with that being said, take this all with a grain of salt. But I've seen other news outlets comment on it, but the most in-depth was IGN, so I just read that one.
Makes sense.
But, so according to IGN, they were going to do a 6-episode series, or a 6-episode season, the first season. Apparently, they are cutting it back to 4, which is how they're going to get it out on time, which is super short. Super short.
Damn, 4 is like a docu-series. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
I
they
agree.
better be some long-ass episodes if they're going 4.
I agree. But, they, so the reason they didn't like it, because allegedly the script felt a lot like The Mandalorian, because apparently it's like Obi-Wan. It's supposed to be younger Obi-Wan, so it's like Obi-Wan like shadowing Luke or Leia, type deal, and they felt that it was too similar to Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, like the way the storyline was with like, they just felt it was too similar, so they're scratching it and they're starting over. Let me see.
I feel like that's gonna be hard.
We have some quotes here.
I feel like it's gonna be hard for them to do this.
They said it was too close to Mando. A source claims that the current Kenobi story was too similar to The Mandalorians, as Obi-Wan helping guide a young Luke or Leia would too closely mirror the tale of the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. The episodes were cut down. THR reports that only that only 2 scripts were written so far, and the story became an issue with the entire package. So Lucasfilm is searching for a new writer, and they're going to reconfigure 6 episodes into 4, possibly. But there has been no change in the release date, and that is per Ewan McGregor has said. Ewan McGregor has commented on, like, he talked to IGN, and he has confirmed that the series is being put on hold, but they're not changing the release date, so just the shooting, which also worries me, because are they going to rush to get it shot? So I don't know.
That'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting.
That's for sure. I just don't know how. Like, I feel like that's going to be too close knit with like the rest of the Star Wars movies. If that like too tied in. Like the Mando does a good job of like not being tied in.
Yeah, I agree. I really
like obviously it's
I really
still
like
the
the Mandalorian
universe, but like it's not super
it's totally
tied
different
into
than
the
I get what you're saying. It's totally different than anything we've seen.
Like this Obi-Wan's going to be obviously super tied in.
Yeah.
To everything we've seen, because it's like hard to break away when you're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi and the rest of the Skywalkers. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of worried about it. I'm not worried about the Mandalorian season 2 though.
Yeah, but it's not got a while on it.
Yeah, I think fall next year. Same thing, but a lot of things come out fall next year.
That's where The Witcher's disappointing.
Two of the Disney Marvel shows come out in fall next year.
Yeah, isn't that Bucky?
Speaking of that, we have the base. I don't know if I saved that story or not.
The base what?
The basis of the Falcon show, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did not, so I won't be able to quote it, but I know roughly. So basically, the basis of the show is the U.S. government is not happy and does not approve of Falcon taking the, because it takes place right after Endgame.
Yeah.
They don't approve of Falcon taking the role of Captain America for whatever reason. Obviously, we don't have details. And it introduces, what's his name? U.S. something. Hang on.
That's a good.
I can't remember.
That's a good story cover right here. It's like TMZ level coverage.
I can't.
News cover.
I can't remember what it is. Hang on, I'm looking it up.
Okay.
You keep.
I'll keep talking.
Keep talking.
Keep talking while you look up your news story.
Keep going about something. I should have been more prepared. I totally forgot about it, and I didn't screenshot the story.
It's okay. It happens. I'm pretty hyped for that one. I guess I'm a little upset because like I did recently like finish The Witcher, and they haven't got a release date to like 2020 for that or 2022. God, it's already 2020. But like 2022 and that next season, and like it ended the season.
Oh, actually, Falcon and Winter
exactly
Soldier
how I
comes
thought it
out fall of this year,
Oh wow,
which is still
that's pretty hype though. That'll be a good one for sure. Like,
what was his name?
but I'm interested to see kind of where Marvel's gonna go with what they're doing. It's one of those things. Like, obviously, some people don't agree, but I think for the most part, people agree that like the Infinity Saga was a pretty solid saga, like all the way around.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really many
actually,
like bad movies in that saga.
Speaking of that, while I look this up, I did have a not recommendation, a suggestion for the pod.
Okay.
Because we will soon start to be doing every like a 20 to 30 minute episode, just banter or whatever for the patrons, and we're also doing an extra episode a month. But we don't really know what that's going to be. Like, is it going to be a movie?
When was that?
Brent, it's literally on the Patreon. Were you not part of this?
We're also doing an extra episode a month.
We are actually, yeah. I thought you knew that. Are you putting your hair in a bun?
No, I don't want to do that yet.
Yeah.
I might do the up down look, but yeah. But I was not aware that we were doing another episode a month.
Oh shoot, they changed it.
That's interesting for sure. When was that decided? Like last week?
I don't know. He never said anything. He just kind of threw it in there on the Patreon, so I noticed it. Thought you looked at it.
I haven't logged into
I assumed since I wasn't told that you were told, so he just kind of threw it in there. Didn't tell either of us.
Brent just got a lot of plans for the podcast that just like isn't told to the rest of the people hosting the podcast. But I don't think it's a bad idea. I could see it like maybe working out, maybe not. I don't think it needs to be part of the Patreon though. I say we just drop in the end of that episode.
Here we go. So the new took me forever to find it. So the plot of this show is the U.S. government is not happy with the Falcon taking over the role as Captain America, and they create, I could not remember his name, but he's called the U.S.
That's a hard name to remember.
I don't know why I couldn't remember it. It's very basic. Also,
I'm assuming that's part of the comics and everything.
Yes, and was that confirmed? That is confirmed.
Okay.
That is legit. So there's a couple other news things
that's
that
pretty
I had.
Cool, though.
The Eternals is finished filming. The movie. Eternals is finished filming. We should get a trailer very soon, which is exciting. There was one more that I saw. Yes, okay, here's this. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier series will be about the government not accepting Sam as the new Cap, so they decide to choose their own, which is the U.S. agent.
They don't like me as Captain America. It is what it is.
Not you, Sam. I mean, yeah.
Oh, there's another Sam?
Yeah, there's more than
I thought I was
Sam.
the only one. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, not surprised that's happening, I guess. They could go a couple routes with it for sure. But I guess that's pretty dope news.
There were some other rumors.
Kobe, I swear to God, if you bite my fingers.
Hang on, I can't remember who posted this.
I don't think we need any more news, but you can keep going with it.
I can't remember who posted it. There were some rumors for the new Doctor Strange movie, about the villain, and I can't think who the villain was. So this is totally just irrelevant news.
Yeah, super irrelevant.
If anyone was excited for it, I just got their hopes up, and I can't deliver on the news because I don't have time to just sit
Doctor Strange villain is...
I don't remember.
We actually don't know, so that's...
I don't remember. It was just rumored. It wasn't confirmed either, and it was it was a tough rumor. So there was no...
Honestly,
so we don't know.
You should believe every rumor you hear on the internet.
That's terrible.
Is true. Like,
that's terrible. What time are we at?
Like, the birds are just governments. It's just the
government that's true.
Spying on us.
That's true. Birds aren't real. I mean, some are. But
yeah. Well, obviously they put real ones up there. So like,
yeah, we have real ones, so people don't get confused.
Yeah.
But
most of them.
But most of them
to spy on.
Just to spy on us. What are you getting on about now, Kobe? Anyway, what are we at? We're at 25. Okay. Introduce our movie. I'm gonna go make sure that there's no.
We watched a movie this week.
We watched 2 movies this week.
We did. So this week, as we kind of mentioned earlier, this week was a patron suggested movie week because, to be honest, like what's out in theaters at the current moment just wasn't really sparking a lot of interest. There's only a few movies. Didn't have a lot of time to go see it as a gang, so Definitely only just kind of picked out a Patron suggested movie. So this week, we both watched Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. And then we also watched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which pretty recent movie.
It came out Tuesday on DVD.
Yeah, so
also shout out to the patron actually bought the movie.
Yeah, for hooking
and
us up.
Gave us the digital copy so that we didn't have to rent it, which was super dope. Yeah. Saved us money and convenience wise.
Yeah, for sure, especially just like being able to do it, and it worked out because Brent didn't really want to watch it, so
yeah.
Everything's worked out really well. Shout out Kelby for the great patron and the pretty solid suggestion.
Yeah, I know you had some mixed feelings about the first one.
I still have mixed feelings about the movie in general. But I guess the way you guys always talk about it is if you kind of put it as a genre, it makes more sense. Take each movie as its genre and not really as a whole.
Yeah.
Which I agree with and I disagree with, because it's movies still in general as a whole would need to appeal to people, but this one definitely is very
geared
specific
towards
genre, so it's geared towards a very specific group of people.
It's weird. So Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is obviously geared, it's a stoner movie. One, it's a stoner movie, and it also has a lot of touchbacks to Clerks, which I know you haven't seen Clerks, have you?
No, I'm not.
So you haven't seen Clerks. So there's a lot of touchbacks to that. So if you've seen Clerks and you were high as balls while watching it,
it's probably really
funny. Hysterical.
I could see that because I was watching it and I was like, it's not bad.
When I was watching it, but I was like, this would definitely be really good.
This is the first one. Strikes Back.
Yes. Yeah, Strikes Back.
I still liked it.
I still liked it. It was funny.
It's not really satire.
But they actually here's the thing. There were definitely some scenes that seemed kind of stupid to me, but would definitely not be stupid.
Scenes?
Huh? Just mostly the scenes where they were high.
Yeah.
Those scenes would be a lot funnier if you were also high.
Oh, for sure.
So they're obviously built towards that. That's my biggest pet peeve is not that in general, but when certain scenes are built to certain situations. Now, in that case, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm talking
you're supposed to watch the movie.
I'm more talking those scenes that are specifically made to be this is made to be watched in 3D.
Yeah.
Which we saw a lot when 3D first came out.
Yeah.
When 3D came out and 3D movies were really big. There were a lot of scenes that were shot specifically to be seen in 3D, but so if you didn't see it in theaters, the scene looks really weird.
Yes.
Because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because it's something coming at the camera at you, but if you don't see it in 3D, it's really weird. That's always there was a select few 3D movies. They were just made to be viewed in 3D. If you don't watch it in 3D, it's not that good. It's solely for the
Spy Kids 3D. Classic.
Dude.
Classic 3D movie right there.
Don't talk about the Chosen One. Is that what he just called? What was it?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Elijah Wood? Is that who played it?
I don't even know.
I think so.
Couldn't even tell you.
But anyway, I enjoyed Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I love Kevin Smith.
He's pretty good.
I really love Kevin Smith. I have a bias. I do have a bias towards Kevin Smith. I think he's really funny. He's super talented writer. If you haven't read any of so he's also Kevin Smith is an extremely talented person in general. Yes. So he's a writer, producer, director. Comedian, he writes podcaster, yep. And he also writes comic books.
Okay, I did not know that.
He also works for he's written Daredevil comics, Spider-Man, Batman comic. He's written. Well, actually, I don't think he's done Spider-Man. I take that back. I think he mostly does DC and his own stuff. I had an article pulled up of a list of some of the comics he has worked on, but he's actually a phenomenal
writer. In general. Which is why I think that kind of makes the movie even better, because he's obviously has his comic, and it's just a really purposefully dumb story. It's got Dumb and Dumber type vibes.
I take that back. He did write some Spider-Man. He's done a decent amount of Marvel or Daredevil. And he did a lot of the What Ifs, which is also being adapted to one of the Netflix series. Yeah, that's the animated one. Yeah, so that'll be super interesting. But yeah, he's actually a super talented writer. I will say he's definitely a better director
than an actor.
Not that he's a bad actor,
But I
but
think
I
that's
think
kind
he's
of
a
why,
really
like,
good
at least in this
director.
movie, I think it's fun, like, why a big part of why he plays like a silent role. Because like he does a good job like as a silent role, and like it really fits
His character.
movie, yeah, and the movie in general. Just because like Jay's obviously very outgoing and dumb.
Yeah, I feel like if they would,
and then like Silent Bob's just like actually kind of pretty smart, but also just like doesn't talk at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the movie's good. I definitely liked the reboot better than the original.
I did too, and I really didn't think I was because I typically hate reboots. But I also think that's why I liked it, because the Jay and Silent Bob reboot is making fun of reboots.
Yes.
It's not a reboot. It's called a reboot, but it's not a reboot. It's making fun of other reboots, which gets kind of confusing. But also, what I really enjoyed about the movie is both movies, a lot more so the second one, but both of them are very self-aware. Like, they're aware that they are in a movie.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like the whole, like, it's what the breaking the fourth wall, like what people know, like, Deadpool for doing. It's like...
Yeah, they do that,
They did
too.
that in, like, and then back in 2001. So, like, that's a big part of the movie in general, just talking about, like...
The amount of references.
Yeah, to...
Well.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, his big thing, too, is just, like, you saw... I think you see more in Strikes Back than you do in the reboot. It's just, like, Kevin Smith's just connections throughout the industry and, like, who he can pull into his movie. Because, like, in the original one, we got Will Ferrell, Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock.
I really enjoyed Will Ferrell's
Hamill's
character
in it.
In the first one.
Even, like, Carrie Fisher. Like, you got Jon Stewart.
Was Carrie Fisher in it?
Yeah, she's the nun. I did not know that, actually.
Really? She was the nun?
She's the nun. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I did not catch that.
And then just a bunch. Jon Stewart, Sean William Scott, Brent, or whatever. But just a lot of, like, big-name people. Obviously, Ben Affleck. That he kind of pulls into.
Yeah, Ben Affleck. I was telling Sennis earlier. Ben Affleck and Kevin Smith are actually really, really good friends.
I just like how he kind of pulls them all into the movie to kind of...
And, like, are you talking about...
I guess, like, it's, like, just, like, references and just also just, like, small cameos. Because, like, obviously none of them are really in it for a long time. Like, I think, big name-wise, Will Ferrell is really the only one that kind of pops up
a good amount.
Consistently over, like,
and
anybody
Ben
else.
Affleck had a decent-sized role in the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
But he was also a lot smaller then.
Yeah.
And then Matt Damon's character as Loki was really funny, too.
Yeah, that was very funny. But, like, the first one, as far as just cameos and that, definitely a lot bigger of a cast. Even though this new one's still pretty solid. But I did like that aspect of it.
I was sad that Mark Hamill didn't appear in the second one.
I like the second one, how they kind of just, like, they kept having Cockknocker come in. Which, like, for those who don't know, like, Cockknocker is a great name. But it's what Mark Hamill plays in, like, the original one.
Yeah.
And, like, in this one, even, like, in that, like, the little clip they showed at the end of the movie, or, like, not the very end, but, like, the end, the end, where, like, Cockknocker's, like, punching through the wall, and, like, okay, here comes Mark Hamill, and then they just cut the end, like, they end the clip right there.
Because they probably couldn't
like,
get him to do
never
it.
brought him back in. So, like, he kind of just teases it the whole movie. And
yeah,
I think he does a good job with that. Because, like, I love it. Like, I listened to his, like, his Joe Rogan one episode.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan recently.
Just to, like, kind of get an idea. And, like, I think the crazy thing, like, kind of you were saying with the reboot, is, like, they still tour around. Like, they still, like, recently tour around with the original movie.
Yeah.
So, like, you're talking about, like, an 18-year-old movie now. And, like, they go and tour with it. And they literally just go to the theaters. And, like, people just buy tickets. And they do, like, a little Q&A.
Yeah.
Like, he sells out theaters and does, like, multiple nights in a row in, like, cities.
Yeah.
So, it's literally just, like, a comedy tour, but for a movie. And, like, it's just, like, such a... Almost like, I don't even want to say like a cult classic, but just like...
What, when Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not...
it kind of
Clerks is. Clerks is definitely a cult classic.
But I'll say Jay and Silent Bob, you kind of could almost
is.
classify it as, because like, definitely within like the, stoner community, if we want to say it. Like,
yeah, I guess.
Is very like, going to be a classic movie, and like a lot of people are going to go and want to watch it. Like a group of people who find it pretty funny and are probably pretty baked.
But the second one you didn't have to be high,
which is why I think you enjoyed it better.
Yeah,
but
like it makes sense.
See why the first one is very loved.
So like in 2001 when Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, That's gonna probably be, like if you were high watching that, it would be probably super it would be hysterical.
Yes.
Right?
For
Those
sure.
kids who probably saw it then were probably between probably like 16, 25.
Yeah.
Roughly. So I'd say the majority of people who are going to watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back are probably a lot older, probably don't smoke, or if they do, not nearly as much now. So they probably saw it sober. So it makes more sense for it to be not as geared towards to being, baked out of your mind to think it's funny because of the audience who's going to go see it. So I thought that was really smart play because if it was, I feel like if it was, I feel like if it was as, stupid funny, to where it would be really funny if you were high to see it.
But I feel like Jay and Silent Bob is one of those movies where it's
people would go see it.
It's not really a. I think it's more based just towards stoners in general. So even if you're 20 now, you're gonna watch Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and you're gonna know a good about the movie. Just kind of even that whole entire thing, Cheech and Chong, you obviously gonna know. Yeah, he was in the reboot, so that was funny. But because he talks about it they talk about Cheech and Chong in Strikes Back. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely referenced, but he's obviously not in that one. But he's in the reboot. But I guess just back to we'll talk about the original more. It was really good. It's definitely got that early 2000s feel to it.
Yeah, it's the early 2000s stupid comedy type.
Yeah, and all the obviously the attire. I like how they don't change Jay and Silent Bob's attire between the two movies, which is good. But everything else changes all the way around.
Also the fact that
just all the funny even when the girls are robbing the Diamonds place.
Yeah.
When the chick runs on the wall.
Yeah, it was super cheesy.
Funny. It's super cheesy, but
it's supposed to be cheesy.
For sure.
It's all the stupid cheesy scenes that were in the film were making fun of scenes that were it was ironically cheesy.
Yeah, and it's supposed to.
And they were making fun of movies that aren't unironically cheesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was making fun of those cheesy spy movies that were really big in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I agree. But it was definitely because that's true. The time frame is just right around there. And the original, the more I think about it, Strikes Back isn't bad. I definitely while I'm watching it, I'm this is really dumb.
Yeah, I remember you texting
me. But also it kind of
bad.
just gets better as the movie goes on.
Yeah.
I was about halfway through and I'm I'm not really digging it. But then I kind of finished it and I was okay.
I think the main reason that we it took me I've seen it before, but it's definitely not something I typically watch.
Yeah, it's definitely not my.
Which is why I think it took us a little bit to get into it.
Yeah.
It's because one, we both really delve deep into movies.
Yeah.
So we get really into it, and we kind of we delve and we break it down as far as cinematography and everything, and that's not what this movie's about. It's just supposed to be a stupid cheesy movie that you're just supposed to sit back, no thought process. You're just supposed to sit and watch it. And I think that's why we were definitely overanalyzing it. Because we analyze all the movies we watch, and this movie is not a movie that's made to be analyzed. It's not supposed to be a cinema masterpiece. It's not supposed to be comedy gold.
It's trying to get a bunch of people.
It's just supposed to be a funny, stupid movie that you can sit and watch with a bunch of people while having a good time. That's really what it's supposed to be. And I think the reason we didn't enjoy it as much, or at least the first one going into it, is because we analyze movies. Now, Clerks is totally different. I would recommend you watching Clerks. I really like Clerks. It's not it's funny, but it's not totally funny.
Yeah.
As in, it's got a more serious vibe. More it's a cult classic. It's hard to describe, but it's a really good movie. I recommend Clerks. They are coming out with a Clerks 3. I didn't know that.
That's crazy.
Because Clerks 2 came out mid-90s, I think. I could be totally wrong. But Clerks 3 is on, because I was looking up Kevin Smith's 2006.
Yeah, for Clerks.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's okay.
But yeah, I was looking up Kevin Smith's cinematography, and Clerks 3 is on there with it's undated right now, but Clerks 3 is on the way, apparently. I don't know if it's necessary, but then again, if you're Kevin Smith, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. I also really enjoyed how much they shat on Kevin Smith throughout the
Well, I
entire
love that.
the
I just
second
like
movie.
how he like.
He can make fun
I
of
mean,
himself.
I really like the second movie a lot, cause, I mean, I guess just from the beginning, like, them just making fun of reboots, and remakes in general, and kind of, I guess, the difference between the reboot and the remake, cause like the reboot's just kind of changing up an original movie that's kind of got a similar feeling to it, and like I know we talked about it, but like, for those, like the whole scene with Shoguns.
I don't know.
Is just really funny because they're kind of just asking like, what's the difference between a reboot and a remake? And he's kind of like, a remake just completely changes the movie, where a reboot kind of just like takes the original idea and changes a few things.
Yeah.
Makes it like to the younger crowd, so like it obviously can sell, and it's definitely just, for the most part, it tends to be a money grab.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it before on like the podcast, is a lot of people, like, you see it a lot with Disney, like their live action remakes, like all that's, and it's a big part of cinema right now. Like there's not a lot of like original thought, and that's where like you do have people like Jordan Peele who like have these original movies coming out. And even like
Jordan Peele's new movie looks phenomenal.
Even like the most recent movies coming out, like you have like Dolittle came out, kind of flopped.
Dolittle hella flopped.
You have like even like the one that came out this week that was like The Turning. I was super interested in. It's like a 2012.
Did it flop?
Yes, it's got like really bad Rotten Tomato scores.
Man, I wanted to see it.
So it's one of those things where like a lot of these reboots and remakes, like if they're not kicking it and killing it out of the park, like it's hard. It's gonna be hard for them people to keep doing them, and like you're losing. Like there's obviously a bunch of creative people out there, so like I don't know why these big companies are feeling the need to keep rebooting and remaking it. But I still think like we talk about Star Wars a lot, but like even that beginning scene in like the Shogun store, like when they're like blah blah blah, like what's the movie where Jedi fights people with lightsabers fight someone in a dark mask to take down shit with a bunch of ray guns. And the guy's like, Star Wars. And he's like, no, The Force Awakens. And like just like talking about how it's like a reboot of like the original Star Wars. Because it's very just got a similar vibe, and almost like people have obviously talked about how it feels like. I get what you're saying. So it's like one of those things, but then like it's also funny because you see like they play a very typical role as like what you see in like people are like all over MCU's dick right now, because like I mean Marvel's done an amazing job. Like it's a great like we said, the Infinity Saga is
as far as
pretty nuts. As far as
I will say, as far as
like 23 movies of, I don't really think there's not a lot of like, besides the Incredible Hulk, which I don't know if you count. I wouldn't even count it. I mean, they count it in the Phase 1, but it doesn't even really count because it's not even the same Hulk. So, like, besides that movie, there's really not a terrible movie. Like, there's mediocre ones, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not a terrible movie in that. Like, people don't like Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man's hilarious.
Dude, Ant-Man's one of my favorites.
I think Ant-Man's hilarious.
Ant-Man's actually one of my favorites. I think Disney's done a
But then, like, they pretty much roast. So they're like, oh, so MCU's just a bunch of reboots. And he's like, the guy's like, no, MCU is like the dude that owns the comic book store. MCU is a movie masterpiece, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do you say? Like,
he says, I beat off more to Marvel movies than I do to porn, and I come twice as hard. Which
is just a classic person, like people who are
which is accurate to
what you would quote unquote is like the geeky or like nerdy
the people who get mad when you criticize Marvel movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite like
as much as I love Marvel, like it's not like you can criticize Marvel.
Yeah,
they can do things better. They do recycle a lot of ideas. I think they recycle ideas better. They could do a better job at being original. Yeah. Having more original stuff. They definitely play it safe. But as far as all the stuff that recycles stuff, they at least do it in an enjoyable way where it doesn't get shit on every time that they put out a movie, which Star Wars does.
Yeah. And I thought that scene in the movie just like stands out because it's really funny and you're pretty much dead on like, and like that was the point, like it's dead on what cinema is right now, which is, I think for some of the people, I would say probably in the industry, just like are disappointed in it, because like you obviously have a lot of creative minds, and the creative minds do get like the award. Well, for the most part, get the awards and the recognition they deserve within the industry. But I think still as a,
you know what didn't
as money, because even like you see, like obviously Uncut Gems doesn't get the awards, but like Uncut Gems,
it's a totally original idea.
Uncut Gems in theaters, like it's one of those things like not a lot of people go see it because it's not
big blockbuster.
It's not a
film.
Disney blockbuster. Yeah, it's not a giant film that's just like there to pull
you
your
know
money
else
away.
won 0 prizes or awards? I mean,
What?
Us.
Yeah, that's disappointing
nothing.
because Lupita's. She should have definitely
Her
been
performance.
up for Best
She
Actress.
definitely should have for Best Actress. And was she even nominated?
No, she got snubbed out of both the Oscars.
Yeah,
and the
I saw that,
Golden
which
Globes.
is ridiculous. It's a tough conversation to have because a lot of people are upset. They feel like it's because she is a black female. Where that could be true, I don't think it's more that. I think it's more so that she wasn't a part, like Us wasn't a blockbuster film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a smaller film that was directed by a new director.
Yep.
That even though it did really well, it wasn't a Marvel movie, it wasn't a Star Wars movie, and it wasn't produced by a huge name horror film producer or director, and it wasn't made by a giant company like Lionsgate. Actually, was it Lionsgate?
I don't know who it is.
I can't remember who it was, but I know it was a smaller one. But I think that played a big portion into why it wasn't nominated. Not solely because, quote, the nominations are racist, if you will. I know a lot of people are saying that. Not that they aren't. I think they definitely. It is primarily white males. I will say that.
Yes.
It is definitely primarily white males, but I don't think that is the sole reason that she got snubbed out.
I mean, I think she.
But I
deserved
think
it.
she absolutely deserved it. No, I'm not.
She should have
I'm not
been there
saying
over
people
some other
shouldn't
people,
be.
but-
I'm not saying people shouldn't be upset about it. I'm just. I think that a lot of the reasoning is not necessarily incorrect, but there's more to it than just the fact that she's a black female.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that probably does play a role in it, for sure. But I think other part of it is also just the type of movie it was, who was in it. It was just a smaller film. But I think she definitely minimum she deserved nominations on both, and I personally think she deserved the win. So, but yeah.
But yeah,
like nothing from that movie got nominated.
I know.
Like
it's
at
just
all.
like so that's
And
it's
that
just
movie
hard
was
for people to
amazing.
it's probably hard to get your ideas by big blockbuster places.
Yeah, I think that's where
Which is why I also think we're seeing a lot of like indie type films too, where people
that
just
are starting to blow up.
Yeah, because people
Parasite.
that's where the
Creativity is.
creative minds are, because
Yeah.
they can't get
Because
Disney's not going to be like
Disney
hey,
won't
I
buy
wanna
it because
this.
it's not an idea that's worked before.
Yeah.
They're scared to latch on to anything new.
Which I understand from like a business standpoint.
Yeah,
but
from
at
a
the same
business
time, like,
perspective, it makes sense, but you
you
got to
kind of
take
destroy creativity
creativity.
when you're doing that.
Yeah, you got to take the leap, and like Parasite took the leap.
Yeah.
Us took the leap, and
Yeah.
it landed. Like it's not always gonna land, but you won't know if you don't jump. You know what I mean?
agree. So that just kind of goes back to like, I mean, the whole reboot, like the whole movie, just kind of always talking about it. But like the reboot for sure, like we were saying, is definitely more. You don't have to be really super high to enjoy it. Like I think I enjoyed the reboot more than I did the original, but also I think the reboot just does a good job, like you were saying, like kind of creating a more. It does have like a more of an emotional grab with the whole relationship between him and his daughter,
which is weird because his daughter in the movie is so
Kevin
Jay's
Smith's
yeah
daughter.
Jay's daughter in the movie is actually Kevin Smith's daughter in real life, which also I really liked her shitting on Kevin Smith,
which is really funny.
She said
She's
I hate
like,
this
I
guy.
hate this guy.
He forces his daughter to be in everything that he makes,
Yeah.
which is true. She's
did.
in all of his movies,
Which is nuts. Look at this.
and she said it.
Look at that. I did not know that, which is honestly crazy. So
Oh.
it's like she's obviously like.
She was
What do you
baby
think
silent.
She makes you think she's maybe 20 in this movie.
Yeah,
So in
Let
the
me find
original,
I didn't know she
Strikes
was in the
Back,
original. I didn't know she was
she's
born yet.
baby Silent Bob. So like the very beginning of the movie, when the moms roll up the
yeah.
when the moms roll up the strollers and they put them outside. She's Silent Bob.
So even from the beginning,
even
she's been
from
in
like
it.
the original, which is honestly that's pretty fun. That's pretty amazing that he put her in there, and that was probably just the start of everything.
Was she also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? It looks like.
Maybe, but I really like. I mean, I think it's funny just because like the whole movie's kind of like very related to I guess what his life is now.
Because she's 20.
Because she's like, I mean, in the movie, her name's Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
and her name in real life is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So just like, I guess the whole tie back to comic books and like, I guess nerd culture, geek, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, she is in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is actually in every movie
that
he's made because he directed Yoga Hosers. She's in it. Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, obviously. Tusk. He did Tusk. Strike Back, which she was the baby.
Yeah,
Clerks 2. Holidays. I know he did Holidays. Method of Madness. So
almost a lot of what he's in.
Most of what she's been in, he's directed, except for Kilroy was here, which I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then All These Small Moments, which I don't know what they are. But
yeah, I really like. I mean, the movie itself
her
just destroying them, or like him, the saying where it's like, this movie is just, I had a heart attack. This movie is just me guilt tripping all my friends and like coming back in, which like, he talks about it on Joe Rogan podcast. He's like, I literally just called up a bunch of people, and like definitely guilt tripped like his heart attack because like he had it.
He was like, "Hey, I almost died. Do you want to be in this movie?"
Yeah, and like he pulled it off because like even on Joe Rogan, he's like, "Yeah, I called my agent, talked to yours, and they were like, you're busy," and he was like,
"No, you're not."
He's like, "Fuck my agent, I'm calling Joe Rogan personally," and he called him up, and he was actually like super busy because like Joe Rogan's just, I mean, obviously Joe Rogan's just booked from now on out.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't get in it, which I was disappointed.
And he's like, because I mean he's booked. The man just literally has a schedule like 24/7. So he was like, okay, yeah, I understand that, but I was really hoping you could be in it. And Joe Rogan's like, yeah, I'm just not an actor.
Yeah, Joe Rogan actually really didn't want to be in it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the acting type. But it would have been funny to see him just, like, be plugged in there, like, a small little cameo.
Yeah,
But Kevin Smith definitely just kind of, like, pulls on his big-name people.
Because who else was in it?
It's probably mainly for this movie.
Chris Hemsworth was in it.
Yeah, you got Hemsworth. Matt Damon, of course, he's in the original.
Ben Affleck.
But, like, Rosario Dawson, she's in it. She's pretty big.
Val Kilmer, I thought it was funny that Val Kilmer played Blunt Man.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer also played Batman.
That is funny.
All Jason Lee's in it.
Yeah, Justin Long.
Who else? There was a couple other big names that I saw that I recognized. Craig Robinson was the judge.
Tommy Chong was definitely a big one.
Yeah, Tommy Chong was in there. Yeah, it was like pretty big cat. Like they all just a ton of small cameos, but like every small character you saw, you recognized from something.
Oh
else,
yeah, you did for sure.
Which was really.
So that was definitely a pretty fun. I really like just like, I mean, did it in both movies. It's always fun. To do.
All the touchbacks to everything pop culture too was funny. Like, because they referred to they kept referring to Kevin Smith as Kevin James, and then when they were going to get him, Millie said Kevin Can Wait, which Kevin James has a show called Kevin Can Wait. Like there was a ton of there was a ton of small one-liners, and I definitely didn't catch all of them. But there was a ton of small one-liners that are just like almost every sentence. There's a reference to something,
which is pretty. Yeah, I like that.
Which is super smart. Because like also who else did we see? We saw the entire cast of Clerks was in there. Because they went to Chronicon, which is Comic Con.
Yeah,
they went to Chronicon. And there were panels and stuff. Kevin Smith also has a show called Comic Book Man, which was recently canceled. The cast of Comic Book Man has a panel on Chronicon. Yep. So does the cast of Clerks. And if you noticed, one guy shows up twice because he was in Clerks because he's a close friend of Kevin Smith's, but he also works in the store and on the show Comic Book Man and Kevin Smith's comic book show. So he's on both panels.
That's pretty funny.
Which they walk from room to room. So there's no way he could have been but like obviously the movie is not supposed to make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't
it's not logical sense. And then we see Ben Affleck, and then they touch on there's a ton of references to Kevin Smith's old movies too. Like Chasing Amy was referenced in there.
Yep.
Clerks was referenced a bunch, obviously. Obviously, Jay and Silent Bob. There was a reference to... I was looking stuff up. There was a reference to Holiday, which I want to watch. I haven't seen Holiday yet. It's on Netflix, so I'll probably watch it. There was a couple references to Tusk. If you haven't watched Tusk,
I haven't seen a lot of his stuff.
It's hysterical. There were a lot of touches to comic book men. A lot of the people that are in comic book men have smaller characters in it, but like it was just a movie for references.
Yeah, which is what that's what the first one was. So what this one is, he does a good job, and I really like the whole, just the reboot vibe behind it. Like it's obviously just like, overarching theme, like the whole movie, because like we said, like he literally goes on tour with, he for like the past whatever years, like he's gone on tour with Strikes Back, and like obviously he's been making a good amount of money, just off that movie. So there's really no need for a reboot. Like he really didn't need to make a reboot.
No, it was
like
really
it's one
for
of those
fun.
things. Yeah,
he did it because he wanted to make a movie,
and he's kind of just making fun of the rest of Hollywood and far the way they're doing reboots. So, and like he's like, yeah, there's no creative aspect to it because it's a reboot. It's just taking the thing, and like I like the whole like all they're doing is taking an original movie, changing ideas up a bit, and then putting youth and diversity in it, and like that's another big one. Like obviously the whole story just like has like the four
accurate.
girls that are like you got like an Asian transfer student, and then
turns out to be the bad guy.
Turns out to be a bad guy. Turns out to be Russian. You have like an African American deaf woman, and then
a Muslim.
A Muslim, which is just terrible. But like not like the one scene where Jay's like, it's a terrorist
because she just shows up.
It's a terrorist, and then she's like,
I'm not a terrorist.
She's just like, what? Where at?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then Billy's just like, Jay, it's not a terrorist. That's my friend. And then he's just like, what in the world do you guys have in common? He's like, you have two loving parents.
That
like
was super emotional.
It definitely took a turn and becoming really emotional.
It got super emotional in like 3 parts of the movie that I wasn't ready for. I wasn't preparing myself to get emotional in this movie, and it definitely had some good emotional touches, which I think is what made it good. It's like
I think that's why we definitely like the reboot a lot better than the original. It's definitely got an emotional grab, and it's not as stoner biased. I'll say, because obviously it's circled around like that Shugen's gold weed or whatever. Yeah, those blunts, but like that doesn't really play like a giant part. I do really like the when you find out that she's Russian and like she's like a Russian spy.
That was funny.
And she's like, we've infiltrated your.
She's like, we infiltrated your government.
Yeah, that was the best. There's some before it. She's like, we infiltrated this. We've infiltrated your elections, and I'm like, classic, like
yeah. And then she goes,
like talking about because like that's super big right now. It's like,
what was the other thing she said?
He's getting his ass impeached.
Yeah,
his peach impeached.
Can you believe they put Trump in a peach?
Yeah,
such a cruel punishment.
I know. It's like Charlie and what's the giant peach one?
James and the Giant Peach. Also, that just reminded me. James and the Giant Peach is getting a live action Netflix adaptation.
Dude. Please stop. That sounds kind of creepy. Terrible.
It sounds.
I thought it was already live action. Is it not?
No, it's like claymation.
Dude, honestly, the original James and Giant Peach movie isn't a terrible movie.
Why is my default browser set to Yahoo? I don't know why.
Honestly, I don't know why you have it set to Yahoo either. That's like
it literally hasn't always been. It was just it was when I unplugged it from my outside monitors, it got changed to just go to images. But yeah, when I unplugged it.
Okay, yeah, it's like it's 100% animated. My bad.
Claymation. I don't know. You thought it was live action?
I don't know. I remember that movie being really weird. Good, but it's really weird.
I remember being really good and I loving it, but I remember being super weird.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like Trump and the Giant Peach now. So
Trump and the Giant Peach.
They pretty much wrote the book for Roald Dahl just could tell the future. He's like the writers of The Simpsons. But like I don't know, the movie definitely liked the reboot better, but I didn't mind the original. Yeah. Especially after seeing the reboot. Like I do like Kevin Smith a lot. listening to him on the podcast was like super interesting. Like just getting to know him.
Yeah, I really like Kevin Smith. Also, shout out to him for losing a shit ton of weight and
going vegan,
taking a reality check. Because he did it for his daughter. Because like he had a heart attack and he was like, I really want to see my daughter grow up. And
yeah, that was a bit
because his daughter made him go vegan, but he definitely had already made the decision to change his life, and going vegan actually helped him lose a ton of weight.
Because he talks about it in the podcast. I don't know if you listened, but like he had the heart attack and he was in the hospital. And, like she was with him like 24/7. He was like, she was there and she would literally just like watching me sleep and everything. Because like obviously she's super worried about him. Like she's very young, and, like doesn't want to see her dad die. Because like I think it's kind of
he got super
obviously
healthy,
he wasn't like the healthiest, but he wasn't like insanely out of shape either.
No, but he was just a big guy.
Silent Bob in the original one isn't like morbidly obese. Like yes,
No.
yes, he's overweight,
but he was just barely overweight. He was just.
But he wasn't like he's still like sitting there like 400
in that
pounds.
one he was still, but he was a lot bigger. And I don't know if you've seen his new stuff, but he was a lot bigger.
Yeah, I mean, he said he's lost over like 100 pounds, which is awesome.
He gained a lot of weight.
But like, he wasn't like morbidly obese to where like at the age he's at, he's gonna like start having heart attacks. But I think it's also plays a little bit of genetics because he talks about how that's how his dad died too.
Yeah.
Like his dad had one, didn't change his life, had a second, and that was it. So like he's kind of like he had the one, and now he realized he had to change his life. So like he went vegan and like dropped all that weight, and like they joked about the vegan like the whole time in the show because they're just like they literally go to like a Dairy Queen type place or whatever, and they're like, I'll take 6 of the burger meals, and they're like, we're vegan. And he was like, everyone's vegan. He's like, okay, I'll take 1 burger meal and 5 milks, and they're like, we're vegan, because like obviously they can't drink milk either.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny, but like, because like also playing the whole like everyone just always plugs their veganism, but like, it is what it is. I support it, and it's all like, I mean, the fact that he just lost all that weight to be that's now, and like, even they joke about it. He's like, this motherfucker lost a bunch of weight, and now I gotta call him.
He got put on.
It's like fly, like in the first movie, he's like fly away fat ass. Yeah. Now he's got to say like fly away little fat ass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty good. Just like talking about his weight, but he didn't. Yeah, doesn't like the focus.
It was good.
But yeah, both movies.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good week.
Both movies are pretty solid. Definitely great recommendation, Kelby. I think we really enjoyed both listening to it, especially since it's really neither of ours.
I don't think we ever would have. Yeah, I think it was good.
I don't think I'd ever would have watched a movie without getting recommended.
Yeah, I think it was good that we got it recommended to watch something that we typically wouldn't watch.
Which is why I think we really enjoy these recommendations, because that's what they've kind of tended to be like. We don't really.
It's stuff that we obviously wouldn't be like, hey, we should do this.
Try to explore more genres now, but like we're still very like we love our superhero movies.
We have our preferences.
We love our.
We like our big blockbusters.
Yeah,
we really like our.
like our blockbusters.
We like our big movies, and this
like
made
getting
us watch
into like some indie
movies.
or like some movies like these are. It's always super interesting. But I guess we can go ahead and rate both of them. And kind of wrap it up.
I mean, I enjoyed them. I'd probably give them both a solid. The first one I'd probably give a solid 6.
Yeah, I was gonna give the first one.
It's not amazing.
I would say the first one's like a 6, 6.5, 6.7. I was thinking was around the score I was gonna give.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 6.5.
I think the second one definitely I enjoyed it more. I'd say it's more like a 7.8, 9.
Yeah.
I don't know if it hits the 8 range, but like
yeah, I'd give it.
It's definitely very good. I like obviously how it kind of just talks about movies in general at the current moment. So that was a big thing that I enjoyed. So I don't know. I think we both really liked it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kelby, for the
good recommendation.
Beautiful recommendation.
Look forward to next week's for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If Brent can't be on it, I think we're probably just going to go ahead and do it anyway.
We're still on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whether
if
Brent will be here
or not. Yeah, we'll do it, and then Brent will just weigh in on it on the next one. We'll do a short segment if he can't be on it for whatever reason.
So definitely make sure you tune in next week for that episode. Make sure, again, you follow us on Twitter at the UO Podcast,
if you
Instagram at the Uncultured Opinions, and don't forget,
if you want an extra
if
bonus
you do want to suggest us movies, you can join our Patreon
for the $25
check out the different tiers. $25 tier will allow you to suggest different movies, but it's also just a lot of different tiers. Read off your name. Also, we will be doing some extra
bonus episodes.
Just bonus episodes in general and additional episodes each week. So if you like, go ahead, hit that up. The link should be in. I know it's on our Twitter. It should be on Instagram. So go ahead and check all that out. But thanks for coming out. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. I don't have the things. That's a wrap.